Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unscripted Access, the GamerAccess.com's premier gaming, news, and occasionally pop culture podcast. I'm your host, Bronson Fiore, joined by Brandon Smith.
How's it going, everybody?
That made me want to go to bed.
Yeah, no, I'm a sleepy boy right now. We've had a long day so far.
Yeah, no, for sure. So a bunch of stuff has happened in the last few weeks. I've done a couple solo shows, and then the Thanksgiving week podcast didn't get up because both the people required to post it were on vacation.
Yeah.
And I don't have access to the RSS feed, so, yep.
Shit happens. Shit happens.
We're going to talk about the stuff that's supposed to go on in this. And you're probably noticing, what is this video thing? We're doing this off my desktop now for logistical reasons with us, and so you can at least stare at the headline of whatever we're looking at.
Right.
And also you can see where all our sources are.
Right.
So that's it's good news for everyone. Plus, I'm sure we can prop up small organizations such as the New York Times through our podcast.
Right. Give them a little bit of a signal boost.
Yeah.
Speaking of signal boost and things that nobody heard about.
Yeah, so Stan Lee is dead at age 95. Otherwise known as the superhero of Marvel Comics, as New York Times calls him. He created, for those of you who don't know, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Thor,
X-Men, Fantastic Four. Pretty much
Doctor Strange.
Black Panther, 90% of Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know who he is, then goddamn.
Yeah, if you've been going, if these ticket sales of those Marvel movies and those Blu-ray sales of them Marvel movies are any indication, you at minimum know him as
the guy in all the Marvel movies.
Who's in all the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Avengers 4, people are going to go bananas during his cameo.
Yeah. Everybody's going to talk about how sad it is. And it is sad. It's sad.
But yeah, Stan Lee is like an icon for nerd culture.
He's one of those guys I've always said, fundamentally the world would be different without guys like him and Ozzy Osbourne, who seem to live forever and never die, But now we know that's not true. And that's depressing.
I actually saw a really funny thing where it's like the Mortal Kombat combat.
What is this picture that I'm looking at? It looks so weird. The side of his head looks weird. Anyway. Sorry, it's just bizarre. See, now you can see the picture that we're looking at whenever we reference something on Bronson's monitor.
Yeah, so...
Still can't see our faces.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably for the best.
You don't want to see Bronson in his true bear form. Yeah, I got him. I got him again, twice in one day.
Don't want to see... Don't want to see Brandon's neck beard coming in.
Yeah, I haven't shaved in a minute.
True.
It's been a minute. I need to...
I have not since the start of open enrollment at work.
No Nut November. So Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley.
The world has felt it. The world has felt it.
Dude, I've seen, Reddit. It was all over Reddit. It was all over...
Oh, wait. No, I do have a bit of a news story in relation to Stanley that we can kind of touch on, because I actually do think that there were some kind of shitty comments made. Not just the ones by Bill Maher, but
I was just about to say, Bill Maher.
We could talk about Bill Maher, because I think Bill Maher's a jackass, but I already thought he was a jackass beforehand.
I kind of want to discuss the life of Stan Lee a little bit before we get into people being salty and shitty.
I just had two things on that. The comment I was talking about specifically was Armie Hammer, who's an actor that I respect. Actually, he's a good actor and he seems like a genuinely good person. His Stanley related tweet was "Rest in peace, Stanley," talking about his impact, and then kind of made a jab at all the celebrities who decided that posting pictures of themselves with Stan Lee was the way to remember him, and then he was like, way to make this man's legacy all about you, or whatever. And I was like, on the one hand, I kind of see what he's getting at, like, these celebrities were kind of like taking the... It seems like it came from someone who's very disillusioned by the egos of Hollywood actors, but at the same time, I'm also like, when a member of your family dies, you typically share your memories with that person. Because,
right. I know Kevin Smith wrote this like just massive blog post that went up on his Facebook.
Yeah, I read his, yeah. Yeah, well, and it's like, you know, all the fans sharing pictures of that they got with Stan Lee. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're making it about themselves. I don't think that speaks to their ego. It seemed like kind of an asinine comment from someone that I respect otherwise. And I just wanted to touch on that. I don't know, like, it seems like whenever stuff like this tends to happen, especially like an icon in pop culture that like has touched as many people as Stanley has, which only happens like, I can think of like him and like Michael Jackson,
like Walt Disney.
Yeah,
like,
Walt Disney.
It's like
that's how many people in this world have like created things that are as monumental as what Stan Lee did. Like, and there's also like a lot of like, there are some people out there that like kind of, I don't know. Anyway, we could talk about the life of
his career didn't pop off till his 40s either. Like his he said like, I fucking hate writing comic books. Like, I'm tired of having to do it this way. And then like his wife was just like, well, just write one the way you want to write one for this next one. And if you get fired, well, you're gonna quit anyway. And if it does well, it does well. Right. You know, and that's kind of when his career really popped off.
Well, and beyond like any of the other, like, he's created countless like characters and stories and things that like, and a lot of the criticism posthumously that I've seen of him is that it's like co-created by Stan Lee, so like people are like criticizing him based on like the merit of like, did he actually like do this? And I'm like, he was
the writer.
He was the writer. He didn't draw Spider-Man's costume, but he wrote the story elements.
I think that you know, and trust me, I get this as someone who has written comics, like, because like back in the day, I used to write comics and Bremen used to draw them. Like, as someone who has written comics, like the writing in comics does not get as much focus as the art does.
Well, no, because it's a visual storytelling medium. So like, it's the same way that like a screenplay. People kind of look at screenwriters sometimes as like not actual writers.
Right.
Because you're not really writing something so much as you are like drawing out the way a story should be shown.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, people don't read a movie, they watch a movie, and people read comic books, but they're also kind of watching them.
Yeah.
I consider the two pretty interchangeable in terms of like their approach to like storytelling. So
right. But so like when
it's still okay, like I'll put it this way.
Also,
like,
what, you know, what year did Kirby pass? What year did Jack Kirby pass? Do you remember?
It was like the 70s or 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, so like that was before the fucking like massive Marvel empire.
And Marvel wasn't nearly as big until that first Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
Like, they had movies based on their stuff. They had the X-Men movies and the Spider-Man movies and stuff. But like, now that they have like Marvel Studios, mm-hmm. and it's like a multi-billion-dollar corporation, it's like none of that would have been nearly as feasible if Stan Lee didn't go like, what if we made a superhero that's just a teenager dealing with teenage problems, and he has to balance his being a teenager with being a superhero.
Also, Stan Lee,
and stuff like that.
Stan Lee was also very good about merchandising. He was very much like, why don't we sell T-shirts for these heroes?
Right. Why don't we have toys? Why don't we have... Yeah. And I mean, superheroes have always been like a lucrative business in terms of like merchandising, but
like, he was one of the first to like really jump on that, because before...
For a long time, I think to this day, if you look at like comic figure sales, it's like Batman is the number one selling comic, and then Spider-Man is like not far behind. But in terms of merchandise, no character has made more money than Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's the highest selling character in terms of merchandise.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's a huge character. Everybody loves Batman, but everybody loves Spider-Man. Like, people lose their shit about both those characters. And this guy not only created Spider-Man, but also like X-Men and the Incredible Hulk and shit like that.
Like,
so
and once again, like the list is huge. Like,
yeah,
the list is like if you like the MCU or something in the MCU, Stan Lee probably had a hand in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's a movie out there not based on one of his characters right now. Maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians might be the only one that isn't him.
Right.
But like Thor, obviously the main 5 Avengers are for, and then Spider-Man obviously is, and Doctor Strange is, and Black Panther, and and then like I'm very happy to see that he got to be in the first Marvel Cinematic Universe equivalent of a game.
Right.
In Spider-Man, like he had that little cameo in Spider-Man, and it's a shame that we're not going to get to see multiple Stan Lee game cameos.
Right.
That's a real bummer, but
that sort of thing. I mean, at the end of the day, like he'll always be remembered as like to different people. He'll be remembered different ways, but I think like ultimately it's like the overarching consensus is this is the guy who created many people's childhoods, gave many people kind of some sort of semblance of ideology or relatability or morality in a lot of ways. Like, I know if it weren't for Spider-Man, me, you, Ray, tons of people we know like would not be the same people.
Yeah, absolutely.
In much the same way that like we needed Goku and Batman and all these other characters.
Yeah, like I growing up, Spider-Man and Batman were my 2 favorites.
Right.
And like Spider-Man, I was definitely leaning towards. And then like as an adult, I kind of like for the longest time I didn't care for a lot of the Marvel stable. And then like as an adult, I kind of went back to them. And I grew to really like Doctor Strange. And I grew to really like Iron Man. Right.
I definitely am obviously more of a DC than a Marvel.
Same.
But I, I don't think I feel like people who are like solely one way or the other just don't really read enough comics. Like nobody who actually works at DC or Marvel like hates the other. If you follow them on social media, if you like read the comics, they're constantly referencing each other. Like the guys who draw for DC are always drawing Marvel fan art and vice versa. Like you always see posts from like guys who are drawing like the Spider-Man comics and stuff saying like, "Hey, I can't wait to see the new Justice League movie or the new Aquaman movie." And I think the guy who currently draws Batman was like drawing all sorts of Infinity War fan art because the movie was coming out. So like, you can like both. It's okay. The guys who make this stuff like both. Right. Kevin Feige likes both. He's said he likes both DC and Marvel.
Right.
Stan Lee loves like there was actually like a decent there was like a good chunk of time where like they presented like Stan Lee's DC universe where he like goes through and like kind of rewrites the characters' origins the way that he reimagines them, and those are like pretty interesting. I don't know that I would want them like main universe, but
this sounds fascinating. I would love to take a look into this.
It's kind of interesting to see the way that he would interpret like Batman and Superman in them.
What was his interpretation of Batman? I'm so curious.
It's kind of hard to explain.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to explain.
What's his interpretation of Superman?
I don't totally remember the Superman one. Okay. I've only really looked at the Batman one. But
what can you explain any of it?
No, I would just look into it. You guys should just go out and seek out this stuff.
Okay.
Like, don't let someone tell you about comics. Just read comics.
I'm gonna go see.
This is my biggest thing. Don't just read a Wikipedia article about comics and then call it good. Like, go read comics.
So I have 2 different apps on my iPad for reading comics.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, no, I'm a big proponent of, because I know a lot of people who will like skim through like the DC wiki or the Marvel wiki or whatever and just like skim through like character articles and then like go around talking about these characters, and I'm like, if you think that like the brief description of the story you read was cool, you should like actually read the story.
My big beef with comics right now is that they're going out and buying individual issues is fucking expensive.
So don't.
Well, no, I'm getting there. Subscription services to them when you get them in the mail are actually fairly affordable for a year's worth. Like one book for a year's worth is like $20 to $30,
Right.
which that's very reasonable in my mind.
I think so, yeah.
But I like to read a lot of my books digitally. Like it's just kind of the way I've gone because like I like being able to have them all on one thing, not have a fucking shelf of them.
I feel you.
Because
you know my thing about physical versus digital media,
right.
especially with a book. Like I feel like, I don't know, like, so like my thing on it is like, one, like I know I feel your pain on the individual issue grind because sometimes I get in that mode and then sometimes I don't, and then I get pissed off that I miss issues and stuff like that. For me, it's I kind of wait until the stories are collected into trade paperbacks, and I tend to like buy those.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I would fucking kill for Marvel or DC to do this, or both. I'd pay for both services, where you just said, hey, here's our current run of stories that we're doing.
Right.
You can get all of them on your iPad or your phone.
I think they have that on Comixology, don't they?
It's close, but it's not everything current.
Right.
It's a little behind. It gets fucking close, because I have used that service. And here it is, just $10 a month, and like I love that because like I read Spider-Gwen.
It's probably a little harder to do with that with comics than it would be with like TV or movies or anime, because with TV and movies and anime, a lot of that's generated through like a lot of the revenue is generated through ads and the subscription service. I'm not entirely sure how like Netflix gauges whether or not something's successful and whether or not to put money into it, like whether or not it's profitable. But
I imagine that a lot of it comes down to
how many people who are paying for the subscription are watching the thing.
Yeah, like those Netflix originals, they gauge on whether or not it'll come back. Probably by something like that would be how I imagine it.
Well, they're like making a second Netflix Death Note movie, which is like the most tone deaf thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
like
but
people
that
universally hated that.
Yeah, but it did well. Like as far as
everybody watched it, and that's the thing. Like nobody would go out to see that in theaters, but everybody watched it because it was on a service that they were already paying for. It's like Bright. Like people, there was like this narrative about that movie that like fans loved it, critics hated it, and like this movie, if it were in theaters, yeah, well, yeah, basically. This movie, were it to hit theaters, would have made, gangbusters at the box office. But I'm also sitting here like, how many of you people would have actually like left your house to go watch Bright? Versus how many of you people just like watched it because it was already on Netflix and you were already paying for Netflix.
So rarely does that happen to me where it'd be something where I do that. The only thing I can really think of where that is a thing for me would be like that new Coen Brothers Western that just hit on Netflix. Where,
right.
Like, I would have saw that in a theater.
There are a couple, like, Netflix originals that I probably would have checked out outside of Netflix, but it's hard to, like, really...
I'm so curious what that fucking Disney subscription service is going to be.
I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy into it.
I want to know what it is. Like, I just want to know.
It's going to be just like Netflix, but for Disney stuff, and they're going to have Disney originals. The only one I'm interested in is The Mandalorian, and I'm not going to buy it just for one series. The difference between that for me and like the DC Universe subscription app is that the DC Universe subscription app comes with a lot of the stuff that I already love to watch anyway, like this Christopher Reeve Superman movies, the Wonder Woman TV show, Batman the Animated, all the DC animated movies and TV shows. And then on top of that, you get like additional originals like Young Justice Outsiders and Titans, which was like so good.
I don't know, like if they do like good Star Wars shit, And then, like...
The first one's being handled by Jon Favreau, who directed the first 2 Iron Man movies.
You know, and then there's, like, he's also... And then, like...
And it's centered around a Mandalorian instead of a Jedi, so that's kind of cool.
And then, like... If, like, they do some good Marvel originals like Netflix did, well, some of Netflix.
They've already announced that they're doing Vision and the Scarlet Witch, which is supposed to star the cast members from the movie. I think Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're doing a Loki show, which is also expected to star Tom Hiddleston. So we're getting some actual MCU stuff, but, like, it seems like it's like the B-roll. I wouldn't be surprised if Black Widow ended up a Disney Plus original movie.
How about
which is kind of shitty, because everybody's been asking for a Black Widow movie.
Everybody's
been asking for a Black Widow movie, but I don't actually know that it's something that everyone wants.
Yeah, it's just a spy movie.
It'd just be a spy movie, and I feel like the reason why people want it is because they want, like, a female-led Marvel movie, and Black Widow seems like the obvious character to do that with, but...
I feel like you could just do Ironheart.
Well, you're getting Captain Marvel.
That too.
We're getting Captain Marvel, which looks amazing.
Looks really good, yes.
It looks a lot like Man of Steel.
No.
But it looks really good, and I also really liked Man of Steel. So, anyway, like, that being said, like, I feel like Black Widow, the way she's portrayed in the MCU, just isn't a strong enough character to hold her own movie.
Like, the also...
She's a great character, but she's not, like... It's like when they made Pirates 4, mm-hmm. and the whole thing hinged on Captain Jack Sparrow, and it was super fucking boring.
Like, I feel like her part in Iron Man 2 is probably one of my favorite parts of Black Widow.
I liked that because she was a brand new character, and you didn't know a whole lot about her, so she just shows up and kicks a bunch of ass, and then you're kind of like, whoa, what's her deal? But then, like, as the movie series progresses, especially in Age of Ultron, and, like, from Age of Ultron onward, mm-hmm. you, like, learn more and more about her character, and it's like, do you really need an entire Black Widow-centered film? Like, maybe Black Widow and Hawkeye... If they didn't already make an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show...
Hold that thought. Go on, though. Sorry.
I feel like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. movie centered around Black Widow and Hawkeye would be really cool.
Been cool.
It could have been... Yeah, it should have been the way it went.
So, hold on. I'm pulling up what is the rumored and confirmed stuff for Phase 4.
So far, I think the only thing that's, like, actually confirmed is...
Far From Home.
Far From Home, but
so it's
Spider-Man or Black Panther and Doctor Strange 2 are also both supposed to be happening.
Yeah, so this is what we have confirmed.
And Black Widow, I think, is another movie.
Far From Home, Black Widow is reported in development. Kevin Feige has confirmed Doctor Strange 2 at some point in the future. Eternals.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Guardians 3 is starting to pick up steam too with the fucking... I can't remember his name. Whatever, carry on.
And then Black Panther 2. So
Guardians 3 just picked up a rumored director. Like, apparently they're courting someone who did something fairly recent that got a pretty positive response. It's not James Gunn, though.
I was about to say, like, my whole thing with this is, like, it's a fool's errand.
To make Guardians 3?
Yeah, like...
You never know. My thing about it is, like, it's a bummer, and it's, like...
I know.
Super shitty that James Gunn isn't going to be involved, but you never know. Like, this new guy could bring something to the table that James Gunn might not have been able to.
And then there's also the fact that they're using Gunn's script, and, like, they're...
I feel bad about that. This is where I stand on that. Like, imagine how shitty you would feel being kicked off of the movie that you, like... would be the culmination of your screenwriting and directing career, and then suddenly, like, some new guy comes in and works off of the script that Disney just owns, that you've poured your heart and soul into. And then imagine being the guy coming on board to direct that movie based on the other guy's script after all the buzz about it. Mm-hmm. Like, that shit would be... That's where I land on it. It would be really weird.
This is a no-win situation for everyone involved.
Not necessarily.
Except for, like, I'll say this, like, I think the ideal scenario, because they have committed to using his script, is, okay, fine, you're using the script, you find a director who can interpret every, like, shit well, maybe put some good own spin on it, and hopefully the actors know the characters well enough and can carry it.
I think what you would need to do to make this an amicable situation for everyone, because pretty much like Drax has already said, Batista's already said he doesn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. It sounds like if he ends up in it, it's going to be a contractual obligation. He's going to throw the whole thing, which is fair. If I was any member of that cast, like James Gunn built that world, I'd be okay. Let's say if I'm the director coming onto this, right? I have to follow up on a guy that just got kicked off of these 2 hugely successful, really well-received movies just because of some shitty stuff he said before, and, like, you know, I'm brought onto this. I think my first move would be talk to the cast, try to get their blessing, but ultimately, like, try to use my own script. I wouldn't want to pick up James Gunn's passion project and try to put my spin on it. The only reason I say that is because, like I said, like, imagine being James Gunn and, like, that movie coming out and you never ever wanting to see it because you know they used your script but they didn't want to use you. You know? And then being the guy who has to come in after the fact and try to take someone else's ideas, someone who already was, like, a majorly controversial figure whose name is associated with this already insanely controversial product, and you have to, like, make his movie instead of, like, your movie.
They've already stated they're using his script.
Right. So, I feel like that could change, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
That could change. And my thing is, like I said, like, this would just be me. Like, if I was coming onto this, I wouldn't want to use James Gunn's script just because, like, again, like, that's his script. That's not... It's his script being used for not his movie.
I just love the fact that just, like, 2 months later, like, dude is, like, has a job working on a Suicide Squad movie.
Dude, yeah, and if he does Suicide Squad 2, like, I'm all for it. Yeah. I am all for it. Like, that first movie was so fucking, like, big for Warner Brothers. No matter how, like, shitty the reception was, like, that movie made a fuck ton of money for them, both in merchandising and box office. Like, that movie was big for them. And if they could get the guy who did Guardians of the... Well, and, like, what's funny about that is, like, pre-release buzz for this movie was that it was going to be DC's Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the comparisons were being drawn, except that, like, in Guardians of the Galaxy, it was being billed as, like, a bunch of assholes banding together to become heroes, and Suicide Squad is literally supervillains doing a good thing so that they don't get their heads blown off. Like, that's... I don't know. Either way, like...
But the original topic, though. Stanley.
Right.
It's a bummer, you know, but 95, you kind of knew it was coming. It's a real bummer that, like, part of his last year had that...
That is such a, like... that's a very, like... It's just funny the way that's worded. That's a bummer. That's a bummer, man. No, it is, though. Yeah, it's super sad, but that's kind of what I was saying was, like, he's been in and out of the hospital for the last year now.
It's just such a shame there was that elder abuse case during all that, too.
Yeah.
Like, fucking...
There were a lot of, like, really weird stories coming out of his, like, hospital stays.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, man. At the end of the day, like, the dude is a legend. Yep. And he will always be remembered. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure. I
anyone with, like, even an ounce of creativity... aspires to create, like, that kind of legacy.
You know his Captain Marvel, and he shot cameos for the next 2 and possibly Far From Home.
Yeah, so I think he would have had to have.
You know people are going to cry like little bitches during all 3 of those.
Yeah, because Far From Home's going to be the farthest out.
Yeah.
Oh, if his last cameo in a Marvel movie is in a Spider-Man movie, that's going to be going to be hard. Yeah,
that's gonna be rough. And then of course, You know, the last cameo that he did for a movie that's already out was Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's one of my favorites actually.
What do you think was his favorite Marvel character that he created?
Oh, Spider-Man.
You think it was Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, yeah.
Probably. There was like a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive action figure of Spider-Man that was Stan Lee dressed up in a Spider-Man costume.
Yeah, I think it was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I will say the Ant-Man and the Wasp is my favorite Stan Lee cameo because like he's like getting into his car and like they drive by and the car chasing that's happening and like his car gets shrunk.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw it.
And it's just like, the 60s were fun, but I'm paying for it now.
Right.
I was just dying.
So can I talk about the Bill Maher thing for a second? Because he made some asinine comments about how like it's sad that Stan Lee dies, but what he did really doesn't matter, and people are stupid for liking comic books because they're for children or whatever. And I'm here to tell you that Bill Maher is a fucking idiot if he thinks that, first of all, that comic books are inherently for children. And secondly, if he thinks that Stan Lee and his impact doesn't matter because he created characters for children in general. Like, that's kind of like saying the guy who created, like, Winnie the Pooh doesn't matter, or, like, the guy who created Mickey Mouse doesn't matter. That's like saying Walt Disney doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, like, this is the Walt Disney of comics. And
yeah,
like,
this is... You know, he's like, it's not substantial, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, dude, first off, these characters have evolved so much.
This dude has never read a fucking comic book in his life. Like, he literally states that in one interview that he read comic books as a kid, and then in the next one that he never even read comics in the first place. No. So that's kind of how you know, like, to, beyond just the Stan Lee stuff, to, like, completely, like, downplay all of the work and artistry that goes into writing and drawing comic books and just crafting these stories that are American myths, to me, is absolutely insane. It's insane to think that you are too good for fucking people's childhoods and their dreams. And then even beyond that, like, some of the greatest stories in American pop culture come from comic books. It's like ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous to me to think that you couldn't ever substantiate something that you haven't read.
Yeah, and like as someone who, and granted, it wasn't the same style of comics. It was my shit was more towards like the penny arcade and stuff like that. The only time I've ever written comics the way like Stan Lee and that style of comic book is like editing Bremen shit.
Right.
Because, like, Bremen desperately needs a copy editor. But anyway, fucking one of the best artists I know. His writing can be rough. Anyway, but like, yeah, the amount of work and artistry that goes into comic books, and like comic books now are definitely more geared towards the 20, 30, and 40-something set. Yeah. Than they are geared towards children. Like, look
at some of the most iconic, some of like the most like iconic and politically divisive and like, you know, just substantial works of fiction in the last like 30 years are graphic novels. Things like Watchmen and V for Vendetta and The Dark Knight Returns. Right. And these are all books that are being like used as like college textbooks.
Yeah, absolutely. And like
to contextualize like political themes and things.
Right. And
so it's ridiculous to me that you can't observe things as an objective bystander and look at the situation and be like, oh, you know, just because he wears a fucking superhero costume doesn't mean that it's just garbage, you know?
Well, exactly. And then, like, you gotta look at, like, the fact
and this is coming from, like, an aspiring comic book artist / writer myself. Like, I've written and drawn my own comics, but, like, as someone who wants to do this for a living, like...
You know, and like, coming from, you know, I've written a lot, like, across the board.
Right.
Comics are fucking hard to write, man.
Well, because you can't describe a scene. You have to like You're describing it to the artist to draw.
Yeah.
You're not describing it to the audience to picture in their head.
Yeah, and that's actually props I get. That's something I give Bremen immense props for, is like, there are multiple times where I will like describe something to him and he will just fucking nail it.
Right.
Just nail it perfectly.
Right.
Almost every time. It's one of those things where, and also, like, if you look at the market at a comic book store, like, with the exception of, like, the single issues, everything there is fucking expensive.
Yeah, this is not shit that, like, kids are gonna go out and, like, spend their fucking allowance money on.
Like,
do kids still get allowances?
Yeah, they do, probably.
You're like, I don't know, I'm not a kid.
My
I
childhood
really
wasn't that long ago. I got an allowance.
I didn't really get an allowance, but I got to, like, do yard work sometimes for some spare cash.
Yeah, I didn't see my parents, like, they gave me allowance, but it was like I always had to do my chores and shit first.
Yeah.
And then, like, if I wanted, like, substantial amounts of money for anything, it was always like straight A report cards and like a lot of additional work around the house.
Right.
Like the way I paid for my 360 is like my dad basically made me create my own mini business.
Right.
Where he's like, I will loan you the lawnmower. You don't have to pay me a loan fee or anything. Like, that's just me being nice. And I will pay for the first tank of gas in the lawnmower. And you can go around the whole fucking neighborhood, take that lawnmower door to door, and see if people will pay you to mow lawns. And you'll have to pay for any gas after that first tank.
Right.
And so on and so forth. And I'll fucking take you to go get the gas.
Point being, like, it's not the kind of money that you'd be making to spend on, like, collectibles at a comic book store.
Yeah, like...
Or anything like that.
Like, I did that for, like, one full summer, and I charged $5 for front, $5 for back.
Right.
And I do it, like, on my weekends, and occasionally a weekday if I didn't have football practice or I got out early. And by the end of that summer, I had enough money to be able to do most of the things, like if I wanted to go see a movie or something during the summer, and buy my 360 with a bunch of games.
The point being, like,
I wouldn't dare spend, like, fucking $200 on a book.
Right.
Which, like, I've been Christmas shopping recently, and Ray is a huge Venom fan. And when I was at Comic Frog out in Sparks, they had the first black suit issue.
Right.
Of Spider-Man. And it was in pretty good condition, like real good, like not mint, but still great condition. And I'm like, how much for the black suit issue? And they're like, they pulled down. They're like, $170. Well,
and you're like, no,
I'm good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, when I was a kid, I definitely spent a lot of money on comic books, but, like, I'm talking, like, when I was in, like, high school, I had, like, the issue where Red Hood was revealed to be Jason Todd and stuff like that. And that was, like, a pretty adult, like, dark story. Like, even as a teenager, I could recognize, like, this is not necessarily the kind of thing you'd want your 5-year-old to be reading. It's not, like, the right Batman story for...
It's the same thing with, like...
I read
The Killing Joke in high school.
Right. Me too. I don't know. But anyway, point is, like, Bill Maher's an ass. He needs to stop talking out of his ass, and, you know, I don't know where he gets off thinking he's, like, better than all the people who write comic books.
Yeah, no.
And draw them, but...
And read them, and...
Basically, all you did was downplay an entire multi-billion-dollar industry...
Because...
And probably one of the most personable industries at that. Like, these artists and writers aren't doing this for money, because the money's not in drawing and writing comic books.
Let's put it this way. The money in the creative arts is shit.
Yeah.
Unless you're
Stan Lee.
Unless you're, like, a Stan Lee type figure. Because let me tell you, I know people who program and do art for video games. If they were to go do that for almost any other part of the tech industry... They'd make way more money.
Right.
Like,
they just do it because they love it. Yeah.
You know, like, people who work at, like, perfect example, Blizzard Entertainment pays an average salary of $70K, where, like, other jobs for a programmer in Irvine pay, like, $95.
Right.
You know, and then, say, like, there's a bunch of stuff like that for, like, comics have that.
Right.
You know, like if you go be an industrial designer versus working comics, you'll like make way more money. Like it's
Point is, Bill Maher's an ass.
Yeah, fuck Bill Maher.
And I think like the main thing I wanted to touch on is like there's kind of a difference between what Armie Hammer was saying and that like he was like shitting on celebrities for sharing pictures of them with Stan Lee. I don't agree with his point, but I kind of understand where it's coming from. Whereas like, and then there are tons of people who are just like dumping all of these like horrible accusations on Stan Lee and saying like do not be sad for him or whatever because he was a monster. And I'm like, you don't know that. Like, stop fucking abusing the narrative to like push your fucking agenda. Like, shut the fuck up and stop making people everything political.
Also, I just realized this because I forget about this every time, but I just remembered like the back of my phone case is Doctor Strange.
Right. It's just no, his impact is huge.
Yeah. So.
But anyway,
that's
he will be missed. We're not the first people to say that, and we won't be the last.
Yeah, like I'm gonna cry like a big baby during Avengers 4, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So.
On to more.
Now this is just anger-inducing news. So.
It's very funny to me.
Fallout 76 has not been doing well critically or.
I want to start by talking about the way that this game came out.
I'm gonna segue into this
because it came out at $60.
Came out at $60.
Like what, a week before Black Friday? Two weeks.
2 weeks before Black Friday.
2 weeks, but yeah, because it was the same day as Spyro.
Yep, basically, yeah.
Came out 2 weeks before Black Friday. $60 title, makes sense, normal. 2 weeks later, Black Friday hits. Bethesda drops the price to $35.
Yep.
That's a $25 price drop if you can't do math because you're stupid.
And you can get it on multiple key sites right now for $40, even though the sales are done.
Stupid.
For the PC version.
Stupid.
Okay, so let's run through the launch of this game.
Because it's hilarious. It's super funny to me.
One, it has a 50 gig patch.
Great.
Now, there are two other
games. That's a day one patch, right?
That's a day one 50 gig patch. When I got the Xbox One version for rent, I installed it.
Now, y'all know that Brandon super apprehensive about playing Red Dead Redemption 2 because it has a 100 gig install, and that's just the install. Now, imagine if Fallout 76 came out, and I had to install this fucking thing and do a 50 gig patch. How big was the install on Fallout?
50 gigs.
So that's a 100 gig
game.
And
that's the fourth one this year.
That's the fourth one this year, but that's not even like... Because 50 gigs for the regular install.
Yep.
50 gigs for the patch to make the fucking thing work.
Mm-hmm. This is an online-only game. This is an online-only game. You cannot play it without this patch. It's not like Fallout 4 where you can decline the patch and just start playing. You just have it be buggier. As if that's possible.
And this is a 50 gig patch.
Yeah.
This is 50 gigabytes.
Yep.
Do you know how, like, fucking crazy that is that they, like, couldn't even get this fucking thing to work on the disc at launch?
Like, that. So, like, there's a 50 gig patch, and, like, this was day one. I ordered through GameFly, through their fucking day one program on rental. I was like, okay, we need to cover this fucking game, and by the way, video in the coming weeks, don't worry.
We're going to cover this stupid game.
Yeah.
You can tell we're
super excited.
We can't wait.
Because we already love Fallout.
We were supposed to do it today, and I think the very thought of just, like, making a fucking Fallout video was so draining to us.
That we just delayed it a day.
We were just like, let's just do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Versus, like Hitman I'm excited for. Like, I'll play the fuck out of Hitman right now.
Hitman's pretty bomb.
But anyway. So, like, it comes out as a 50 gig patch. It's buggy as fuck. It is basically a grind. It's like an old school MMO in the sense that there's nothing to do but grind quests with almost no story, and just do that constantly.
Which really sucks for like a game like Fallout,
which the only good part of the 3 and the 4 in New Vegas were like the side quests and narrative stuff.
Yeah, well, it's a Bethesda game.
Yeah,
Didn't Elder Scrolls Online also kind of released not super well.
Yeah, at least it had interesting narrative stuff and interesting things going on.
Yeah, a Bethesda game is kind of nothing without the story.
Yeah, versus this, which just has next to no story, and it's buggy as fuck, and the PvP is broken, and
that's after the 50 gig patch.
Yes, this is once again all after a 50 gig patch.
People bought this.
So it currently is averaging a 49%.
Bronson, I need to cut you off. It drives me fucking crazy that you have your iPhone boxes stacked from smallest to largest.
That's because
the smallest being at the bottom of the stack, by the way. That's what drives me crazy.
I stack them according to age. So it's 4S, 5S, 6S, 8 Plus, and next year will be the 11. So,
can you fix that?
What?
Just stack them according to size.
Yeah, I like doing them by age.
My god, that's maddening. You have so much more space on that shelf.
You know what the funny part is next year I'm just going to find a new place to stack them because there's no more room.
Yeah.
I actually wish I kind of had my first iPhone box, the 3GS.
I feel like we're never going to get through a podcast without me criticizing something about your room.
Oh, good. Anyway, so I actually really love the design of the iPhone boxes. That's why I keep them. They look clean, look cool.
Just a box with a logo on it.
Yeah, but anyway, I think that packaging is very underrated for a lot of companies.
Yeah, I keep all of my figure boxes.
A good unboxing experience matters.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I keep all my figure boxes. They're all hanging out on the top of the shelf. Did I show you the Ultra Instinct Goku figure I got?
Yeah, you did. Yep.
It's my new favorite Goku. It's very cool.
Anyway, that's it. So
yeah, sorry,
buggy as fuck, 50 gig patch, broken, and currently on review aggregate sites, it's averaging between a 45 and a 50, depending on the platform.
So that should mean middle of the road.
But in
game reviews that means it's scathing.
That's
fucked up to me. Anyway, that's just a mini rant.
Back when we used a 10-point scale, this game would have been a 3.
Right.
A 2 to a 3. Because, it's not going to be a 1 because it still boots and functions and you can play it and derive some entertainment from it, I guess.
What would you do on the current 5-point scale? You haven't even touched it.
From everything I've currently seen and, know of, because I've watched plenty of it and I've played almost nothing, but, from everything I've seen and know, it'd probably be a 1 or a 2. The soundtrack is still great.
Right. That's never not going to be good, though, in Fallout, I feel like.
It runs and functions mostly.
Is this thing still recording?
Yeah. No, we're good.
Okay.
It runs and functions mostly. And some of the mechanics work. So that automatically makes it not a 1.
Right.
So it's probably a 2.
So moving on to the next little weird bit.
Yeah, so the launch is
launch is a disaster.
The launch is a disaster, and it's getting by on the fact that it's a fucking Fallout game.
Probably the worst launch of the year.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. So they did a $200 Power Armor edition where they had a big Brotherhood of Steel helmet and
which
a map.
Is pretty cool. The helmet's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it actually does look cool if you've ever seen one in person.
Yeah.
And it came with a season pass and a steelbook and all this shit. And one of the things advertised is a canvas bag, and it looks like a real nice canvas bag, a duffel bag you travel with.
Nice enough, like a gym bag or something.
Yeah, very similar to the one I got with my Persona 5 Collector's Edition, except bigger.
Right.
Which that thing was of good quality. So, however, they didn't end up getting this
nice canvas
bag. They ended up getting a
piece of shit nylon bag.
Yeah, just a very shitty nylon bag.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And
that looks like something you order like a garment on Amazon and they ship it in that.
Yeah, this looks like...
You know what I mean? Like, you get, like, a shirt.
This looks like
or
one
a
of those,
jacket.
like, little tiny cube ponchos you get for when you're camping, so you don't want to carry a lot of stuff.
Right, or it looks like, you know what it looks like to me is it looks like a freebie giveaway bag they give away at cons.
Yeah, like one of those, like
a Crunchyroll bag or something that you just, like, store your fucking con book in and shit.
Yeah, like just as cheap as possible, like, you know, like, let's put it this way. I've gotten bags at E3 for, like, carrying shit in that are of better quality than this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that looks like the kind of thing you'd go to, like, the Bethesda booth at E3, and if you play a little bit of Fallout 76, they hand you the bag.
Yeah, so, and this isn't a West Tech canvas bag. This is it's a nylon bag, so there's another, because, you know, you can see this now, for those of you who are watching it, the video version. Oh, shit. So yeah, that's what it is. That is definitely not a fucking canvas bag. That's
no, yeah.
shit.
That looks like a grocery store bag in that picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their response to this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so collector's editions range from and here's the thing, collector's editions aren't perfect. Like, there's ones you can open where figures are broken, stuff is missing, like, but like this is like just them outright lying to you.
Right.
This is not like, oh, there was an error in shipping, or like,
no,
they didn't even fucking notify people. Like, if they notified...
Once again, this is, like, legitimately funny to me.
Like, if they just said, hey, we couldn't manufacture these, or we fucked up the margins, sorry, everyone. If you want to cancel your pre-order for this, go ahead, we'll refund you.
Like they should have.
Yeah, like...
The way they should have handled it.
Yeah, you know, but...
The way they actually handled it is, like, worse than fucking the Diablo shit.
Yeah, so...
It's worse than, don't you guys have phones?
Yeah, do you not have phones?
Which, I mean, do you not? Like,
this is true. I have a phone.
Do you not have a phone?
I have a very nice phone. I've
got a shitty phone.
I upgrade.
I could probably still play Diablo.
Yeah, I upgrade my phone every other year.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I can afford it, I do it every year.
Any whore.
Anyway, so someone contacted support about this. And they said, due to unavailability of materials, we had to switch to a nylon carrying case in Fallout 76. We hope this doesn't prevent anyone from enjoying what we feel is one of our best collector's editions.
So my favorite thing about this is that they're like, we still think this is the best one, guys.
Also, like, they knew they were fucking changing it. Like, they knew.
Due to unavailability of materials. Like, how the fuck does that... How is that, like, a good... I don't know, like, that just doesn't sound right to me. That sounds sus. But also, like, they're like, we still feel this is one of our best collector's editions. And, like, yeah, the helmet's cool.
Okay.
But what else?
So, let's see. This was another response regarding that support, because that was the support person was apparently a temporary contractor.
Right.
Who responded to that. The Bethesda Store's support member is a temporary contract employee not directly employed by Bethesda or Bethesda Game Studios. We apologize to the customer who took the time to reach out. The support response was incorrect and not in accordance with our contact policy. Unfortunately, due to the unavailability of materials, we had to switch to a nylon carrying case for the Power Armor Edition. We hope this doesn't prevent anyone from enjoying what we feel is one of the best collector's editions. Mostly the same as on the reply, then only now someone's getting thrown under the bus.
Like, dead ass, like, they just said the same exact thing he already said.
Yeah, so...
They just added this guy, it doesn't work for us.
Yeah, so, update as of 5 a.m. 2 days ago, Bethesda has responded saying, quote, we are sorry. We understand and respect that the disappointment with the bag and the Power Armor Edition. We're sorry, please contact Bethesda support to provide proof of your CE purchase. They will assist in granting you your account 500 atoms, which is the in-game currency to buy items for crafting and other bullshit.
Equivalent to $5, right?
Equivalent to 5 whole US dollars. The real irony, as Mr. Chris Livingston on Twitter pointed out, 500 atoms won't even buy you the Fallout 76 Postman skin that actually has a canvas bag. It costs 700.
Good. Sorry to everyone that bought the game. Here's $5.
Yeah.
Sorry to everyone that bought the shitty bag that came with the game.
Not only that, but like the thing is like this is $200. Is their big flashy thing?
So okay.
This is like when I bought the Master Chief, like the Halo 3 Collector's Edition,
right?
Or like the Persona 5. Like I'm a huge fan. I fucking went out.
You adore this, so you want to get everything that comes with it. And okay, to me, if I was a big enough fan of this, I would think that the Power Armor helmet would be worth that alone. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, that's cool. But like the fact that they just bald-faced lied to you.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying. And then they gave you $5 to like shut you up. Like they were like, here's $5 that you can't use in the game because nothing costs $5 in the game.
Here's $5. You can get a fence.
Like, they were like, you can get some flowers in the door.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Thanks, man.
It's just a little. It's just a little shitty of them to be like, let's release a subpar game with a 50 gig patch that you need to play the game because our game doesn't fucking work. By the way, everybody that ordered the collector's edition, you get this sick-ass helmet, but the bag is a piece of shit. We promised you one thing and we gave you another. Here's $5 because we feel bad, but we hope you enjoy what we perceive as one of our best collector's editions yet.
Also,
it's like, we still love the thing, but we're sorry you don't like it that much.
Also, let's run through the fact that, this...
The Army Men is kind of a cool touch, too.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But, let's look at other Bethesda Collector's Editions real quick.
We're doing this?
Yeah, because I remember the Skyrim one being pretty fucking sweet.
Came with the Alduin statue.
Yeah, it fucking was...
That one was pretty fucking cool.
That thing was rad as shit. But no, and then also on top of all this, Fallout 76 is a multiplayer-only game.
Right.
That you don't necessarily need to play multiplayer to play it.
Right.
I know people are playing it entirely solo almost.
So it's worthless to make it an online game.
And then the fact that this is a franchise that people are like, oh man, we love single player narrative driven experiences. Why are you making the opposite of that?
Right.
And then on top of that, the previous year, a big chunk of their E3 segment is, oh yeah, we're saving single-player games. Wolfenstein and Fallout 4 and Skyrim and Doom and all this other shit we made, except for Quake, is all single-player.
Right, and then you make a fucking multiplayer Fallout.
Yeah, so they have a Rage 2 Collector's Edition that has it's really hard to find other ones, but they did, so let's see how the Fallout 4 one was for comparison.
That was the Pip-Boy one, right?
Yeah.
Where it came with a working Pip-Boy that, worked in your game.
Yeah, as long as you had the phone app to do it. Yeah, you plugged your phone into it and whatnot.
That's still dope.
That is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's the Pip-Boy edition. Alright, so what's in this thing? There's a working Pip-Boy that works with your game, a big-ass case for it, a poster, and a steelbook of the game.
Right.
And it was the release right now is $250. Okay, not bad, not bad at all.
Way better than this one, I think.
Yeah,
I'd rather have the Pip-Boy that works with the game than the helmet. The helmet's cool.
Right, but the Pip-Boy you can also use in cosplay.
Yeah. Well, you could use the helmet in cosplay, but
I don't think it's wearable. I think it's
No, it's a wearable helmet.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's a wearable helmet with a light.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. I watched IGN's unboxing video of this thing.
Alright, so Skyrim Collector's Edition. Was it a night? Oh yeah, there's one more part to this that makes it even more fucked. The influencers thing I sent you the other day.
Yeah.
That was super funny. So not only to fucking compound this just fucking nightmare
shit show ass launch.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So by the way, this is what came with the $150 Skyrim Collector's Edition. The Alduin statue,
which is better than the helmet.
The Art of Skyrim official art books, their full Skyrim art book, and the making of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim DVD, a documentary about the making of the game.
The best things to come with collector's editions, in my opinion, are those art books.
For me, it's the making of DVDs. I find it fascinating.
I love the art books. I'm a big fan. I want to get the Kingdom Hearts deluxe edition that comes with the art book.
Also, I'm not gonna. Also, this was $150, so this is $50 cheaper than that one.
And it comes with a badass statue.
Yeah.
Have you seen that thing in person?
Yeah, it's
Dimitri
sick.
has it.
Yeah, it's sick.
It's fucking cool.
The only one I like more is the Halo Reach one.
Yeah, that one's cool too.
That one was really...
I liked the one that came with Batman Arkham Origins.
That was good. I like the one that came with the newest God of War.
Yeah.
That one was sick. The newest Spider-Man one was really good.
The Spider-Man one is cool. Yeah, Yuko has that. The one that's coming out with Jump Force looks pretty cool too.
That does look neat. But yeah, like I'm just like
right. This is a shit show.
This is like, and then okay. So we have the final thing. I didn't have this pulled up. I sent it to Brandon. Influencers, so YouTubers of high notoriety who are big Fallout streamers, Fallout fans, got a fucking canvas bag, like an actual canvas bag.
That's fucked up.
So, like, I sent you... hold on, I'm going to pull it up because it wasn't that long ago.
Right.
So, Fallout 76 get canvas bag given free to Fallout influencers. So let me pull that up real quick. Because Jesus fucking Christ.
This is
so...
This is a good day.
It just... Man, I knew this game was going to be a shit show.
He called it from a mile away.
I fucking...
Already not a fan of Fallout.
Like, everyone's like, oh, you just don't like Fallout, you're all fucking bitter. And I'm like, look, I can at least understand, like, the merits of, like... You
understand why people like Fallout.
Yeah.
Why people like Fallout 4 and so on.
I especially understand why you like New Vegas. Like, right. Just unplug the Switch.
Yeah.
I personally understand why you'd like New Vegas, but the best part of this is the fact that Fallout creators, and influence at its Greenbrier promo event, got a fucking canvas bag. It isn't identical to the design of the collector's edition, but it's still a canvas bag.
Right.
They were free to influence at a promo event, then turned around and distributed cheap nylon bags in the collector's edition.
Stupid. They, gave them the prototypes or something. They had to have.
Yeah, that's fucking... And this thing looks nice, admittedly. I zoomed in on it. I'll pull up my phone.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's better than the fucking... That one's better than the duffel bag in the...
Yeah.
In the image, I think. It's like a backpack.
Yeah, the fucking...
I'd rather have a backpack than a duffel bag.
Yeah, this fucking just...
Stupid.
This whole thing is a train wreck, and, the only part of Bethesda I personally like is, the id Software properties, like Doom and Wolfenstein.
Right.
So, I've always disliked Fallout, the Bethesda Fallouts since 3. So, for me, this is just tee-hee-hee. You know, fuck them.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that, and then,
it sucks for Fallout fans, but it's, hella funny to me.
Yeah, so... So Nintendo used to have... So we're going to move on to the next story. Nintendo has their YouTube creators program where if you would post a Nintendo video, it would get demonetized and whatnot unless you were part of their creator program. And they launched a beta version of the affiliate program designed to share advertising revenue with YouTubers posting videos with copyrighted content. That officially made its debut on May 27th. Will grant registered users 60% of the advertising. Well, this shit is now being canceled. It's going away.
Yeah.
And so they're just going to do the normal YouTube thing. They're just going to let fans do their thing and make money off it.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. Good on Nintendo. Also, Nintendo is super pissed because Smash Bros. Leaked. Pirated copies of Smash Bros. Are out there everywhere. And yeah, they're not happy. And they're taking down YouTubers on...
This always happens with Smash Bros. This always happens. This happens every single time.
Here's the thing: there are plenty. There are mom and pop shops in California where you can drive to and get that shit right now.
Right.
If you go on the Reddit, you can find that shit out right now.
Right.
But we're just waiting a week. But like, here's my thing: if the street date has been broken, which it has all over the fucking place, there are multiple people on Reddit, on the Kind of Funny forums that I'm in, on the Giant Bomb forums I'm in, all posting their copies and gameplay and shit. The fucking cat is out of the bag. Why don't you just fucking go and break street date, Nintendo?
Right, just put the game out already.
Yeah, just fucking fuck it. Like, you have, like, especially because, like, the digital version is already sitting on most Switches. Like, it's already sitting there. So you fucking might as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but whatever. Alright, so, GameStop is dying, and I'm happy.
Are they dying?
They're
dying.
So
Shit. $500 million loss.
Yep, $488.6 million loss, even though it sold a shit ton of software and had a great Black Friday. Also, by great Black Friday, I mean awful, because most of their orders are still processing and not going through and getting canceled because their website got all fucked because of the amount of traffic.
Makes sense.
So, I've been saying this since 2012, that the Reaper cometh GameStop.
I think that a lot of the fact that a lot of the GameStops are now GameStop Think Geeks is pretty cool. I think like all of them need to be. They need to be shifting towards the collectibles a lot more. It seems like they're already trending towards that, but because I know like.
But most of their profit is still used games.
Yeah, but I feel like if they shifted towards like the collectible aspect more and like did the kind of like lightened up their emphasis on used games, it would be kind of a better business move.
I hate my shopping experience at a fucking GameStop. I can't stand it. Every time I go, it's like, do you want a fucking reward card? Do you want to fucking pre-order this, that, or the other thing? Do you just, like, no.
As, like, coming from the standpoint of someone who, like, has been on that side of the fence, not at GameStop, but at other retail places,
I have been a GameStop employee.
Right.
I know.
It fucking sucks for the employee, too. Like, they fucking hate trying to push all that shit, the rewards membership, everything else,
I worked Black Friday in the mall at GameStop.
Right, which is like kind of like a death sentence.
You know, like I worked the Wii U launch.
Right.
I get it. It's just that it's like
it just blows because you kind of never really go to GameStop just to like look around. You usually go for a specific thing.
It's either that or like especially nowadays. Nowadays. The way I order and buy games, it's like if I am going to a retail place instead of just getting it off Amazon because they have their day one program where you get it on release day and mailed to you.
Right.
I am a man on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I didn't order Soul Calibur online because I forgot about it. And I'm like, okay, it's launch day. I'm here to buy Soul Calibur.
You're gonna get Soul Calibur, yeah.
You know.
And then you show up and they're like, "Did you want to pre-order Spider-Man while you're here? Did you want to pre-order?" Super Smash Brothers comes out next month. Do you want to pre-order that? Did you want to drop your $5? And it's like, no.
I
don't want to do that. Yeah.
Do you want a used version of this? I'm like,
pre-ordering games is like kind of a bad idea anyway. 9 times out of 10.
Here's the only time I pre-order. If the pre-order bonus is fucking amazing.
That's usually when I do it. Yeah. I don't like pre-order DLC bonuses. I miss when you would pre-order a game and you got like a cool hat or like a figure or a T-shirt or a poster.
I remember those Metroid Prime 2 shirts.
My favorite one was like when you pre-ordered Sonic Colors, you got like a hat in the shape of Sonic's head, which I thought was fucking awesome.
I'm trying to think of the best pre-order bonuses. I'm probably saying it's that Metroid Prime 2 shirt. If you pre-ordered,
those are cool. Yeah,
yeah, like those were super rad.
I really like posters as pre-order bonuses a lot.
I'm not a fan anymore because I have too many. You see those that poster tube up there?
Yeah.
It is filled with like tens of posters.
You have no idea, my dude. You have no idea.
Like I'm just like I need to buy a house.
I'm a big fan of wall art, so like Ray doesn't have a whole lot of posters, so he doesn't like have anything up on his walls. But like in my bedroom, like I'm slowly starting to put all of my shit up from like artist alleys and stuff, and like
I could literally like wallpaper Ray's house with posters.
I could do that twice probably.
I have.
I'm trying to get rid of some posters.
No, I'm not.
I don't.
Most of the ones I have are actually like kind of rare ass collector shit.
Right.
Like I have those last couple years that Club Nintendo was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have those posters.
Right.
I have a signed Persona 4 Arena poster.
Right, that's pretty cool.
Like I have when Blizzard was really marketing Heroes of the Storm, I have a Elite Tauren Chieftain Rock God poster.
My two favorite things are my Dragon Ball Super poster signed by Sean Schemmel, voice of Goku, and I got a little headshot of Kevin Conroy, signed by Kevin Conroy, at SEC Anime 2013, something like that.
My favorite is probably that Persona 1 that's signed by the guy who does all the art for the Persona games, which the fact that it made it back to Reno without being destroyed was amazing, because I got signed day 2 of E3.
Right.
Had to carry it around the show floor for a day, keep it safe in the hotel room, and keep it safe on an 8-hour drive back.
Right.
And like the reason I haven't got it framed is because the frame size is weird and I have to get it custom made.
Yeah. But anyway, like pre-order bonuses in terms of like physical like bonus stuff is really cool. I like keychains, pins, figures. I love when they do like little figures. Those are my favorites.
The only thing that I really pre-order nowadays is if I do it through Amazon just because of the shipping aspect.
Yeah.
That's option 1. Option 2 is it has a just sick pre-order bonus. Option 3, it's something I know there's not going to be a big printing of.
For me, it's like, if I know I'm going to like the game, I'll pre-order it so that I can get it as soon as possible and play it. But sometimes I'll pre-order it on Amazon knowing that like I won't really want to like go out to GameStop to go pick it up or whatever. But the reason why like you shouldn't pre-order in the first place is because you never know how a game's going to turn out.
Well, exactly.
Right as soon as the game releases, so you should wait like 1 or 2 weeks before buying if you're not sure that you want to play it. No, you know what I mean? If it's like a game like for Red Dead 2 for me, like that would be a game where I would wait until I've had the chance to see where it goes first. Like people, okay, like the Fallout 76 shit is exactly why you shouldn't pre-order games like that.
But back to the original point, the experience of going to GameStop
super annoying.
Sucks.
Super annoying.
So first off,
I like looking around at GameStop. I hate the checkout.
Like even the looking around experience isn't great for me because like I compare it to like Best Buy or Amazon. Those two are my primary two. Where like when it comes to Amazon, I search for the game I want, I put it in a cart, and actually they now have the fucking one-click buy thing now.
Right.
Where it's like, I find the game I want, and I click a button,
and it ships.
It ships. It goes. It's fucking magic.
I don't like Best Buy as much as GameStop because I feel like their selection keeps getting like smaller and smaller every time I go. So like, I'll go looking for Resident Evil 4, and I can't find it because it was there last week when I didn't want it. You know what I mean? Whereas like at GameStop, it'll always be there. But that's kind of a minor thing, I guess.
I actually haven't had that problem with and then the GameStop, I think back to like, and this was forever ago, but like, I think back to like my Mass Effect 3, like, this is kind of like, was like the thing that really fucking just put a nail in the GameStop coffin for me, which was, I went to go buy Mass Effect 3 on release date.
Yeah.
And I was very excited for it. I loved 2. I was ready to continue the story of my Shepherd. I was ready to continue, but I didn't pre-order it. And I go to GameStop, because I was at the mall anyway running an errand.
Right.
And I go in and I fucking go and pick up They like get in line and wait for some dude to trade in 1 million PS2 games.
Just so that he could get the one new game that he wants.
Yeah. And then to get like 3/4 of the way through the line, and I'm waiting to get the 360 version of Mass Effect because that was my first Shepard and my first save. And this dude just gets on the counter. He's like, "We are out of the 360 version. If you didn't pre-order, you should have. If you didn't pre-order, please get out of the line." I'm the only person who didn't pre-order, and I'm like, "Are you?" And I asked him like, "Are you serious right now? Can you just sell me one?" He's like, and his response, just dead ass, is like, "You should have pre-ordered."
Right.
So I took my ass across the street to Best Buy, and they had a fucking wall of them.
Yeah.
Just a fucking wall of the Mass Effect 3s. And this happened again during the fucking Switch launch. My Switch pre-order at Target got canceled. Because they took in too many pre-orders. So, I was going to have to do the midnight hunt. Okay?
Right, where you're like running around fucking like a chicken with your head cut off trying to find a goddamn Switch.
And this is when I did not have a car, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I get off work, and I take the bus to the GameStop by the Target. And I ask, like, "Hey, do you guys have all your Switches pre-ordered, or can people who didn't pre-order get in line?"
Right.
And they're like, "Nah." So I go get the fucking GameStop. I go to the GameStop in the mall, and they're like, "Nah." I go to the Best Buy across the street. I'm 7th in line.
Right.
And like they're like, "Well, we can't give an exact number, but if you're like in the first 10, you should be safe."
Right. By the way, Kay's gonna pop by while we finish recording and just take me home.
Okay.
So anyway.
But
carry on. I was trying to send her your address. I didn't want to dox you.
So Best Buy ends up having 50 for people who didn't pre-order.
Yeah.
And turns out Walmart only had 2 people in line with just as many. So, the fucking GameStop just losing out every time for me.
It's a place I'll go like. So I said before, it's not really a place you just kind of like wander into to like leisurely look around in. Mm-hmm. The only time I ever like just kind of go to GameStop is when I'm at the mall. Mm-hmm. If I'm like dicking around at the mall and I like go shopping for clothes or something, I'll like hit up GameStop and see what they got in terms of collectibles. But I almost never buy games there anymore. I go there for that purpose, or I go. I have a GameStop credit card, and on the off chance that GameFly doesn't get me something for 6-minute access, and we just need to do a video on it. Right, you'll just go buy it real quick.
I'll just go fucking run it on my GameStop credit card.
Right.
Also, it makes my credit look good because paying off a GameStop credit card is nothing.
Right.
So, yeah, no, that's...
Anyway, GameStop might be dying.
Here's hoping.
Alright, This next one has me laughing.
What? Which one? The Walmart one?
Yeah.
So, Walmart is selling its own line of gaming PCs. The specs on it, when you at first look, aren't bad, but this article is a little old. They cheap out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's Walmart.
They use a no-name power supply. The I.O., which, if those of you don't know, is the USB ports and kind of stuff. They only have one USB 3 port, and it's in the back.
Right.
The rest are all USB 2.0. To put this in perspective, my computer has 4 USB 3.0 ports that I built 2 years ago. On top of all of that, they're poorly put together. There are several YouTubers have taken them apart and legit one of them, the graphic card wasn't seated correctly, so the machine wouldn't have booted. Another one, whoever built it, to secure a cable used hot glue.
Right. Which is hella funny.
Yeah, it's fucked. Here's the thing, and the thing is, they're kind of expensive for what you get. You could go to Dell and save a couple $100 and get an equivalent machine.
Right.
That's actually, like, I don't love the non-boutique guys, and I always say build yourself, but, like, if you're going for a cheap pre-built, go to CyberPower or iBuyPower at least. This shit's just sad.
I feel like the sentence Walmart is selling gaming PCs.
You know what the branding is?
Huh.
Overpowered. That's the name of it. The overpowered Walmart line.
All right. No, I feel like if you're... I don't know, man. I can't process this. Walmart's selling gaming PCs.
Yeah, and like this, like if you just look at the base stats of like the specs, like they're actually pretty good.
They're okay.
But then like you like crack them open and you see the shortcuts they cut to make profit, and it's just like the saddest shit in the world.
Why would you use hot glue in a machine that needs a fan to cool down?
Well, that's a different thing. That
just sounds stupid, though.
Yeah. Okay. So
the cosplayer in me is like, bro, that shit's gonna melt.
There's the I/O problem. There's the fact that like
it's just like it's all indicative of like it's. I mean, that's a very fucking Walmart way of handling your shit.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's just like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up this their basic line of desktop, and then we're gonna oh shit, it's all caps lock. All right, so overpowered Walmart.
Overpowered.
What the fuck? Okay. Okay. Over. There we go.
Oh, that's the same link.
God damn it. All right. There we go.
Ron's in your garbage.
I am garbage. All right, so
you're paying almost $2,000.
So this is actually looking at the price generally, but not the worst deal in the world. But like
it's kind of ugly,
just a little bit. They cable manage poorly. They use the mustard cables. That's all lovely. So yeah, no, especially because like. The funny thing is, they also sell computers from. So yeah, no, that's their three children. It looks like
you can get them in red, blue, and yellow.
Their most affordable one is yellow.
I hate this. I think it's the funniest thing ever because people will actually buy this, like people who want to play Fortnite and shit, but like not really much else.
Yeah, well,
and they'll be like, "Oh, Walmart's got a good laptop or a good PC," and I'm just like, "You're buying a computer from Walmart."
All right, so we're gonna go their gaming desktops for Dell.
Right.
We're gonna start on an Intel one. All right, so we're gonna try and match their
specs.
Their
base.
We're gonna do their baseline. So 1070, a non-overclockable 8700, 256, 2 terabytes, 16 gigs of RAM. But also remember, it has a shitty power supply and a bunch of other issues. So let's see. Let's see what you get for 1100 with your fine folks over at Dell. Alright, so... Wow, they don't allow customizable anything, but alright. Alright, so for $100 less, you get the same processor, less RAM, but I would be willing to bet Dell, being a system manufacturer, uses two 4-gig sticks instead of one 8-gig stick, or one 16-gig stick like Walmart does, to get dual-channel memory. The hard drive's smaller, and the video card is arguably worse. Now that said, though, this thing has a power supply that's not going to explode or catch fire. So, I mean, really...
For $100 less, you're getting slightly worse specs. And a computer that's built to run.
Yeah.
Not a computer that's built to cost.
Now, all right, so this thing is some... At this point, I don't know why you just wouldn't fucking build this.
Right, if you're already going to spend $21.
But okay, so we're going to go back to... Gaming desktops, fine. What is the best thing they got?
What was the other one, an Intel or an AMD?
It was an Intel. Okay, so Dell doesn't offer anything above the like
$2,000 price range.
Yeah, above being 1,500. So we're gonna have to go to their gaming brand, which if you know what Dell's gaming brand is, it's Alienware.
Right.
So we're gonna go to desktops and all-in-ones, Alienware. I believe the Aurora is their mid tower. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go to an Intel to make it a direct comparison, and $2,100 even. All right. Now this is Alienware, which is known for being $200 to $300 more expensive than the next guy.
Right.
Okay. So
Alienware also just like right away the case is cosmetically more appealing.
Yeah.
It's not just a box with 3 fucking circles on the front.
Yeah, Alienware makes great cases. I actually got to take this thing apart at E3 2 years ago.
Was it nice?
It's so fucking nice. Like, I showed Ray, and he's thought it was amazing, because the power supply mounts vertically. It's super cool. Instead of most cases like mine, or mounts on the floor. So, you instantly get a better overclockable processor for the exact same price. Right off the bat. So you instantly get a better overclockable processor.
What's the difference between being able to overclock something and not?
So what overclocking is when you go. So the manufacturer has a spec speed that the processor is supposed to run at. Overclocking means you spend more heat, you burn more heat, and you go over that recommended voltage and recommended speed to make your computer run faster, but it'll run hotter, so you need to cool it better, or else it'll fucking die faster.
Right. So you could overclock something and just put a better cooling system in your...
Yeah. Though Alienware does typically have pretty fucking good cooling on their desktops.
Right.
Their laptops have traditionally had problems, but they're smaller. They're recent ones. Anyway.
Laptops always have problems heating, I've found.
Yeah.
It's not super easy to...
Some are better than others. The Alienware from like when Ray bought it in like 16, those things fucking stay super cool.
Yeah.
My old Alienware stayed super great because they're like this fucking thick.
Right.
Yeah, like they're like 2-3 inches thick. You would hope.
Right.
So you're instantly getting a better overclockable processor. All right. Graphics card's the same because a 1080 Ti and a 2080 are basically the same. However, the 2080 will have newer driver support, newer...
Ray tracing and shit, right?
Yeah, like newer driver support, newer shit backing it.
So it's already kind of a little bit better anyway.
Yeah, so it's already a little better in that sense.
Same RAM?
But
it's dual channel?
Same amount of RAM, but it's dual channel. And Alienware has a slightly faster speed because it's 2660 versus 2400. Granted, you can overclock your RAM, so that's not that
It seems like you can kind of change that a little bit too.
Yeah, you can customize it. You can fucking, if you want to, you could add 64 gigs for $1,000.
Right.
That's actually one thing I always liked about Alienware is they allow you to go in and
dick around with little shit.
Yeah. The only person who does it better is Origin PC, who lets you customize everything, including the brand of what you want customized.
That's pretty cool.
All right, so now Walmart does win in storage because they offer a 512 and a 2 terabyte versus a 256 and a 1 terabyte. Now
you can get the 2 terabyte for $50 more. I'd probably.
Yeah, but you wouldn't get a bigger SSD, so that's still $50 more. That's practically nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so an 850 watt multi-GPU approved power supply with liquid cooling. This thing, they've taken it apart. It's probably not liquid cooled. And if I am looking at the back I/O here, so yeah, this thing I would bet is not liquid cooled. And I know for a fact they use a cheapo Chinese power supply.
Right.
Versus Alienware, who has their custom ones, which have been noted to be very good.
Yeah.
No optical drive on either. At least I'll check the spec line just to be sure. VR ready, 512 HDD. Alright, so yeah, they both don't have disk drives, which whatever. Who the fuck cares in this day and age?
Yeah, nobody really uses those.
I got mine literally just for ripping CDs.
Fair enough.
That's the only reason I keep a disk drive in my computers. Okay, so... and then there's one USB 2.0, two USB 3s, mic, headphone, PS2, HDMI, standard, pretty standard input, and alright, so, and then on this side you're looking at, oh, and this thing has built-in Wi-Fi, this one doesn't, so you actually have to get a Wi-Fi adapter for this guy, or just hook hardlined.
Yeah.
Which that's, alright, whatever. So, for a little less memory, you get significantly better performance, a better power supply, a better looking case.
Just a generally overall better computer minus the storage, which
is easy to upgrade.
Right, and probably honestly not like a super huge deal.
And also you can just buy an external. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
It's not a deal breaker at all.
Yeah. And also, way better support. Let me tell you, I've dealt with Alienware support because my first laptop from them had some issues. They sent someone to my house to swap out the motherboard.
Yeah.
Versus Walmart, where
it's just kind of like all sales are final. You're SOL.
Yeah, you're fucked. So yeah, no, and I'm sure that you could go check multiple manufacturers. I'm sure you could go check with Asus, MSI.
Find comparable machines for better prices.
Yeah, or just build and this is once again going to Alienware, who trends a little expensive.
Yeah. So
fucking yeah, that's nuts to me. And then I'm gonna be willing to bet there's $1,800 one. So let's say you save $200. You get worse everything except for storage again. This is basically the $2,100 one, but with a worse graphics card.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's the only difference. It's a 1080 instead of a 1080 Ti.
It's just kind of funny that Walmart's doing this. Like, it just goes to show you like how big like PC gaming is getting. And
Walmart's trying to get a cut of that pie.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious how their laptops are, because they don't do what Alienware does, where they do a custom case.
Yeah, no.
Like they don't.
It's just gonna be some ugly hunk of shit.
I have to know. I have to know, man. I have to know. Just like I gots to know. Wow, that is really overpriced for what it is. Why would you put a 144 hertz monitor on a 1050? What the fuck is happening? Alright, so, let's see. Alright, so we're gonna go their stupid, overpowered branding. Alright, so they have 3 laptops. The $700 one, which you're already looking at, it's a joke. The 14 and the 17. So we're gonna have $1,700, and we're on Alienware. Products. Laptops. So this is a 15-inch, right?
Right.
So it's a 15-inch laptop. So a 1060, 144 hertz display, i7, 256, 2 terabyte, 32 gigs of RAM, which is not needed in this day and age, but whatever. Alright, so let's say what happens when you have $1,700 with an Alienware 15. It's their big, bulky motherfucker, but let's assume you don't really give a shit.
I don't really give a shit.
So, same processor. Better graphics card, significantly so. You can bump up the display for $150, or you can just deal with 60 hertz.
Probably not that big a deal.
Less memory, and less memory overall. But you're getting once again, you are getting a significantly better graphics card that can actually use a 120 hertz display.
Probably just a better quality build.
Better build quality, better experience overall.
Yeah.
How fucking heavy is this guy? Okay, so 4.5 pounds. It's a thin and light too. All right, fine. I'll go their thin and light model. This is probably where it's going to be Alienware on price, but not fucking build quality, of course.
Right.
Once again, this is using Alienware. Their shit tends to be expensive. Alright, so we'll go to the one that's a little more expensive. So, let's say you go to the Alienware and you're willing to spend an extra $200. You get Once again, a significantly better graphics card, a better screen, a better looking device, less RAM, and less storage. So, yeah. Ah, shit. Yeah.
Well, anyway.
This is fucking stupid. This is don't buy a
fucking Walmart PC.
Don't and I know this is just this is for people who are just there and getting a Christmas gift and their kid wants to play Fortnite.
Right. You can do better, you know.
You can do a lot better for the same or less money.
Anyway, the last story of today.
Trainer battles are coming to Pokemon Go finally.
Kind of cool. Should have been there from the beginning.
I feel like the state of Pokemon Go now is what should have launched.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
That's how it always tends to be with these kind of games. But yeah, this should have been here from the beginning. It's neat.
Yeah, it's
We'll see how it actually plays out because
no
doubt it's going to be really.
Yeah, absolutely. So
that's wonky.
That's pretty much it, peeps.
Fucking
we'll be back next.
Get you next week when we talk about how Bronson is celibate.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a thing.
That's yeah. Follow us on all the social medias and be sure that you tell your mothers to go fuck themselves for the holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. You go do that. Do that right now.
Bye.
Bye all.